Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to this week's edition of All-Star Wrestling here at SICW, where we bring you each and every Sunday night the best in professional wrestling. And when I say the best, that's exactly what it is, because we are keeping those memories alive of the great days of wrestling at the Chase. And we've been talking about it a lot over the last couple of weeks. We've talked about the big shows that we had at the racetrack and the ones that we got coming up. And this week, my special guest is somebody that's no stranger to SICW. I'm talking about the Night Train himself, Gary Jackson. And Gary, welcome once again to the studios of SICW.
All aboard! It's great to be here, Herb. Man, I'm just really excited about the way SICW is going.
Well, you know, Gary, I wanted to bring you in tonight and talk to the fans that watch us each and every Sunday night. You know, you had an honor bestowed upon you back in May during the Fan Fest that I think that you were really proud of, and that was this year's winner of the Sam Muchnick Award.
You know, Herb, I really appreciate that award, and it just goes to show you that, you know, hard work pays off. Even though you might not notice it, other people around you are seeing the work that you put in. And since I put in good work, I was rewarded this beautiful plaque, Sam Muchnick Award, and it doesn't get no better than this.
Well, and for those of you who may be just tuning in for the first time or second time and don't know who Sam Muchnick was, he was the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance president, off and on for over 41 years. And it's been said throughout the wrestling world, the business, that he was the best of all times. He was the peacekeeper. He was the gentleman who, when there was this dispute over the championship, he could sit down with a couple of promoters and break bread with them and come up with a solution that benefited the entire business. And I think that's why he became so popular in the business and so well respected.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great man. People talked about him all over the place. And ladies and gentlemen, if you ever get the opportunity to read the book, The History of the NWA, it will show a lot about this business, how he operated, why St. Louis was so successful, why he was so successful outside the city of St. Louis. So to get the honor of the Sam Muchnick Award, I mean, it's just great.
Well, and not only, you know, he was a person in the wrestling business, but as Gary said, he was talked about all around the globe. Wherever Sam Muchnick's name got brought up or wherever he appeared, he required the audience. I mean, he was like a magnet. Other promoters, the wrestlers, everybody would say that you never made it to the big time in the business until you made it to St. Louis working for Sam Muchnick. And that's still out there today. You can hear wrestlers who have written books, they put it in there, or if you have them on a podcast, or if you hear them being interviewed somewhere and St. Louis comes up as a topic, they'll tell you Sam Muchnick, and then later on it was Larry Matisek or Joe Garagiola, the first play-by-play announcer. Mm-hmm. And for Gary to win that award, I think it just shows the legacy that he's making. Sam Muchnick laid a legacy. He built a foundation that we continue to build on to this day. And then somebody like Gary Jackson, who's been doing this for how many years now?
Just a few.
Just a few. We don't want to say how many. But he's leaving his own legacy, and I mean, he's traveled all over the country. He's worked for multiple major promotions, smaller promotions. He's done it all, and I'm glad to say that he's here at SICW with us and helping teach the younger generation what the business is all about. And I can tell you from personally knowing Gary, he lives by the motto, you know, you get what you give, mm-hmm. and he gives respect to everybody, and in return he expects that. But I've also seen him get his feathers ruffled in that squared circle.
It happens. It happens to the best of them. I mean, wrestling is just like any other job that you have sometime. You know, I have had a lot of smooth days on the job, then I have rough days on the job, but you're going to get some. And the thing about is to get it worked out so you don't have to go down that road anymore.
Well, and you know, that's the thing. And Gary, I want to take you back in the time machine. in East Granolette, Illinois. Before we went to the community building, we were in the auditorium building. And I remember a night that you were in a match there, and there was a young man that was sitting in the front row that was just giving you the blues throughout your entire match. I mean, to the point where he was making up some words that weren't appropriate. You remember that?
Yes, and you know how I feel about a kid using words that they can't even spell. They don't know what that means. And that just rubbed me the wrong way. So I kind of got sidetracked off a match, and I had to get out and give that young man a piece of my mind.
Well, and you did it, and not only did you give him a little piece of your mind there, I remember we took him over into the City Hall area, and you had a heart-to-heart talk with him, and I believe his mother was there, and she was actually standing in the background cheering you on because, it was one of those children that was leading a little bit to the wrong side.
Yes.
But I'm here to tell you today that young man actually went on to finish high school, went on to get a job, and has been making himself a productive individual. And I think a lot of that is from that 5-10 minute talk that you had with him about the facts of life. So I was really proud you were able to have that type of influence on that young man.
I always tell people whatever I can do to help out. I come from a family of 9, single mother. When you're growing up, they teach you right from wrong. Then once you get to a certain part of your life, you know what to do. So I always wanted to make my mother proud of whatever I did because of all the hard work that she put into me. A lot of people say a child is raised by a village. Yeah, I was raised by a village, including her brothers, her sisters, cousins, aunts, people like that. And her, you're sort of like the head leader of our village, which is SICW. And the way you lead the village, you keep us on a straight and narrow road.
Well, and it's, as I just said earlier, we continue to build on the foundation that Sam Muchnick and the people who work for him, the Pat O'Connors, the Gene Kaniskis, the Dick DeBruisers, all the names that if you haven't heard of them, just research them, or your parents may have told you about them, or your grandparents. Wrestling at the Chase was a household name. You talked, Gary mentioned about the National Wrestling Alliance book, but there's other books. The first book that Larry Matisek wrote about 17, 18 years ago now, I believe, Wrestling at the Chase, tells a lot about what took place under Sam Muchnick's leadership. And then here just a couple of years ago, Ed Wheatley, the author of another Wrestling at the Chase book, a coffee table book, continued that story on. And believe me, if you stop and think about it, and if you're in the business like we are, there's probably 4 or 5 more books that can be written because that story is there's still more to that story out there that can be told. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Ed Wheatley isn't working on another one because they got good reviews on the ones that he did. But so, I mean, you're right, Gary, it takes a team. And I don't have to go out there and take the bumps and the bruises like you and all the other guys in the locker room do. But, we're continuing. Wrestling at the Chase laid that foundation for guys like Gary, Ron Powers, the Giant Assassin, Tilla Khan, who is still out there today like you going at it. Bobby D, the Big Texan, our SICW Classic champion. Those guys have been out there rough and tough, show after show. And at SICW, we're doing it. We like to say now it's the SICW Road Show.
Oh, yeah.
A road tour, and we're going to talk about that here shortly. But, when you stop and think about Wrestling at the Chase, you used to go down to Wrestling at the Chase. Do you remember your first show you went down there? Who was on it?
Something I really can't remember. I was just so happy to be there. I was just happy to be there like a big kid in the candy store, man. I always say I was there having fun, and it was great.
There's one thing I bet you can remember. You can probably remember Darla Staggs and Juanita.
Yes.
Right? we can't forget Darla, Juanita, people like that who was there each and every show. And like I said, that was it. It was a household name. So we've talked about that a little bit. We're going to take a little commercial break right now. We come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the SICW Road Tour. We'll be right back.
Wrestling fans, you looking for the best in daily lunch specials and great menu food items? Look no further than Layla's Roadhouse, 440 Falling Springs Road in Cahokia Heights, Illinois. That's right, a family sit down dining and always great specials. Also has the best pizza in the area.
Well, there you have it, fans. Our great sponsors. Can't do it without them. We appreciate each and every one of them. And Gary, we talk about the SICW Road Tour. You had the privilege of being part of the racetrack show a few weeks back, the Melee on the Midway.
Yes.
Tell our audience what kind of experience that was.
You know, in order to really tell you about it, you really need to be there to feel it. Now, building up to that day, you know, the weather wasn't acting right, but whenever you put the ring up, the show must go on. But once the skies cleared up, man, and the sun came out, we was ready to go. And you want to talk about the race cars with a lot of fire and fuel. SICW wrestlers, we was on point. We was on point. I mean, it was just great to be there and to see those fans. My words cannot describe how I was feeling that day when we put that show on at the racetrack.
Well, and for those of you who tune in every week, as you will remember, last week we had the owner of Worldwide Technology Raceway, Curtis Francois, was our guest last week, and we talked about it. And he's still talking about it. Fans, the racing fans are still talking about it. The wrestling fans are talking about it, that maybe had not experienced the racing up and close and personal like they did. So it really was a happy marriage, as Mr. Francois said. So much that they liked it that we're going to be going back there August the 17th and September the 28th. What's your thoughts about that?
I think it's great. I knew we was coming back August the 17th, but then you just throwing in the 28th. That just goes to show you what SICW is doing these days. The first show was a test to see how we was going to perform. We passed that test to the point where we got 2 more dates added on. And it just seemed like wherever we go, whether we in Southern Illinois at the racetrack, we going to Sandoval, we going back to Fairmount City, hopefully we'll be going back to the Missouri Athletic Club, we going up to the Monroe County Fair. I mean, we just going all over the place. SICW, man, is running wild.
Well, and that's the thing. And as Mr. Francois said last week, they set the record again, basically, sellout just under 100,000 people over the weekend. And I'm telling you, when your match was out there, when all the matches were taken on, those fans just kept coming in like the cattle gates got opened up. And I mean, they were on all 4 sides of that ring, as far down that midway as you could see, and people holding their cameras up, taking pictures. And it was really a sight to see. And we've got some footage that we'll be showing, but it's just an honor to be asked to go back there. As I said last Sunday, in 51 years of promoting, we've had some great shows: the Fox Theater, the St. Louis History Museum, the Gateway Grizzly Ballpark, and that list just goes on and on of places that we have been. As you just said, you named a few of them. We're going to Breeze, Illinois for the first time. We're going down, as you said, Monroe County, Fairmont City. On July 6th, we're going to be at the Collinsville Firemen's Bingo Hall. We'll be there for the next 3 months because of the fairgrounds, the exhibition hall being renovated. So a lot going on in SICW. And I'm telling you, we've already announced the first weekend of our show back at the Fireman's Hall. WWE legend Haku is going to be joining us. So those of you who have not met the WWE legend, you'll have a chance to do that that first weekend in August. But the news on July 6th also, not only we're going to be at the Fireman's Hall, but we're giving away 2 free tickets to Las Vegas in August to the annual Cauliflower Alley reunion. And speaking of that, Gary, you're making a special trip out there this year. And I want to take just one more quick commercial break, and we'll come back and we're going to talk about why it's so special to you.
Okay.
Wrestling fans, there's nothing better than barbecue and wrestling. When you're hungry, stop by Mr. Barbecue with 2 locations to serve you in Columbia and Waterloo, Illinois. Great barbecue, cold beverages, and SICW wrestling.
Well, there you have it. Another word from our sponsors. And again, thank you to each and every one of you. And if you want to be a sponsor here every Sunday night, reach out to us and we'll make you a deal that you can't refuse, because our audience is picking up each and every Sunday. SICW word is being spread all over, and we really appreciate that. Gary, back to the Cauliflower Alley Club, an organization that's close to not only my heart but to yours, because it's such a worthwhile. It's I tell people it's like a supplemental insurance policy for the workers, whether you're a wrestler, whether you're a ring crew, you're an announcer. If you have been in the business, you qualify to become a member to, if you fall on hard times, to receive some supplemental help. Anybody can become a member. You don't have to just be a worker. But for the workers, if you're a worker and you get out there and maybe you have an injury or you fall on hard times, the Cauliflower Alley Club is there to help you. And so, Gary, you've been there. What has that experience been of you being out there?
You know, I tell all the guys, man, at least take one trip, if nothing else, because that's the holy grail of big-time wrestling conventions, the CAC Club. They've been around forever and a day. And it's just so up close and personal with, you know, who the guys that you see on TV, you know, every night. I mean, last year when we was out there, I mean, Mickey James was at this table. CM Punk was at that table. I mean, Bob Orton and his wife, they was at this table.
Rey Mysterio, yeah.
A couple tables over. I mean, you had Jim Ross. You had some more WWE legends.
CM Punk.
I mean, just
yeah.
It was just great to, you know, to come out there.
Yeah.
You know.
And so this is their 58th reunion. It'll be in August. So we're giving away 2 free tickets, which will consist of 2 free airfares, plus your tickets for the banquet, plus your hotel. In order to get a chance at that, all you got to do is come to the show Saturday night, July 6th at the Collinsville Fireman's Bingo Hall, 9510 Collinsville Road in Collinsville, Illinois. It's real easy to get to right off of 255 in Collinsville Road. You can't miss it. Doors that open at 6 o'clock, bell times at 7. That drawing will take place that night. And if you're the lucky winner, you can take your significant other, a friend or whatever, and you can take a trip out to Las Vegas on a couple of anonymous donors that wanted to be a part of SICW and said, hey, we want to send 2 of your fans to Las Vegas to help out the reunion. And that also includes a membership, a yearly membership, the year membership to the Cauliflower Alley Club. So that's a pretty good deal.
I think that's a great deal. Whoever wins that, and I'm out there, I'm going to make sure that they have a great time, because, I mean, my words can't explain how I feel about Las Vegas. I think I've been going out there steady for the last 10 years. Total times probably 13 or 14, but I know at least for the last 10 years straight, I have been going out there.
Well, and not only that, not only can you win the tickets to go, as Gary said, it's the who's who of will be there. You'll be surprised who you see there. But the main reason you need to try to go this year, Gary Jackson is going to be there, as he says, but he's going to be there for another reason also. He's actually being given an award of the Wrestler of the Year award. And Gary, what a honor and a tribute that is to your career in the professional wrestling. First, the Sam Muchnick
Yes.
Award, and now an award from the Cauliflower Alley Club.
I mean, I was speechless again. I get this one fantastic award right here. And then after I get this award, I'm told that, hey, you going to Vegas? I'm like, you know I'm coming to Vegas. Well, you better be there, because this year you getting the Wrestler of the Year award. And man, I about lost my breath.
And you got that call from the
President B. Brian Blair himself.
one half of the Killer Bees,
Yes.
WWE legend.
And ladies and gentlemen, you can always look up CAC on the internet. It breaks down about who's going to be there. The whole itinerary from start to finish. But the reason I like going to CAC Club, because you just never know who's going to pop up. They advertise who's going to be there, but I like to see the ones who's not advertised and they just pop up. It's like a bonus.
Yeah,
it's
somebody
just
at the last moment just says, "Hey,
Yes.
it's Cauliflower Weekend. Let's go to Vegas."
Go to Vegas.
And you never know who's going to walk in that door. Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, is going to be there as
Yes.
the host of it. Medusa will be there. She helps host it. It is a who's who of professional wrestling. And then the bonus is our own, the Night Train, Gary Jackson, receiving the Wrestler of the Year award. That's icing on the cake. If that's in August, if you haven't got anything on your schedule and you want to take a trip, maybe take your wife, girlfriend, or just a couple of you guys want to get together, or a bunch of you want to get together, get out to Vegas and have a good time. I'm telling you, if you go once, you're going to go again, because it's addicting when you get out there. Because as Gary said, you never know who you're going to be sitting next to, eating lunch with, or a dinner with, or walking in the hallway, getting on the elevator with whoever it might be there,
Yes.
JBL, whoever. You never know.
Yes.
So
they're all there, man. It's just a great atmosphere to be around. There's no egos. It's just up and personal all the time.
yeah.
You seeing people walking around, everybody's having a great time. And not only that, we're right behind Fremont Street, and we just take the party all over the place, man. Everybody know when SICW is in the house, because we just kicking it with everybody and just having a good time.
Well, and that's the thing, is we said SICW Road Tour, that's it. In July, back up just a month, in July, we go up to Waterloo, Iowa, to the Tragus Hall of Fame, our good friend up there, Troy Peterson, and Jerry Briscoe, another WWE Hall of Famer. They put on this fantastic event each and every month. This is their 25th year anniversary. They've got a list of legends that's going to be there. We're actually taking up Tito Santana and Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. Farm, and they've got just a whole list of legends that's going to be there. And that's up in Waterloo, Iowa. It's only about, if you drive it, is what, 4 or 5 hours?
About 4 hours, and it's a great place to start. It's like the baby version of the CAC in Vegas. And I went last year for the very first time. This year I'm not going due to a family vacation with the family, with our family trip. But ladies and gentlemen, that's a good place to start. If you can't make it to Vegas, go to Waterloo and you will have a great time.
Yeah, those are two big events, and like I said, I want to give a shout out this last Sunday night. I got invited by our good friend, Mr. Jim Harris, who used to be one of our referees, in fact, the senior referee for us at one time, the St. Louis Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. They had that over in St. Louis, and I tell you, I had a busy Sunday, but that was last week when I walked in there. I got to see a lot of the old talent that has since retired, and it was just great sitting around, seeing the camaraderie. They had a nice award ceremony. They inducted in several people into the St. Louis Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, and hats off to all of you who received those honors and those awards, because your work doesn't go unnoticed, especially from the wrestling fans out there. And Jim Harris and his committee that they put together did a tremendous job. Cecil and Shaft and people that's on that committee, Big Mama Love and John Blackheart, people like that. People don't realize it takes a lot to put those type of organizations on and those events. So again, congratulations to you, and hopefully that gets only bigger and better each year. We talked about a few of the places we're going. We forgot about the Little Devils.
Yes.
Bobby D, once again, is coming through. What a great show out there last year at the Little Devils field. That's later on this year. So those dates are all up on the SICW.org.
Yes.
And there's more to be added. Like I said, Breeze, Illinois, Sandoval, Illinois, Fairmont City, Illinois. I'm forgetting some of them. I'm telling you.
We're getting them every day.
Oh, the Soho.
Yeah,
we can't
the
forget the Soho.
The Soulard. That just got added on. Again, every day. I mean, heard you getting a phone call about people want to bring SICW, and I mean that's just a good thing. It shows the hard work that we put out there in that ring for people who want us to come to their towns or their fundraisers or whatever, or to their birthday parties, things like that. So SICW is all about building relationships with different organizations and having fun and just putting the best talent on that we can.
Well, and I think for the fans who have showed up through our local shows, like will be July 6th at the Bingo Hall in Collinsville, you bring your youngsters, they can get photographs, they can get autographs. Everybody just has a great time, and I think it's something that kind of separates us from especially the bigger organizations that you can't get down to ringside and you can't get those autographs. So we try to make it as family friendly as possible because we want you to come and enjoy a nice, reasonable night out, and we want you to talk about it, go back and tell your families and say, hey, SICW is that old chip off the block of St. Louis wrestling at the Chase, because that's what we do. And speaking of wrestling at the Chase, as you heard us say many times, we like to say we are keeping the past, the present, and the future alive. And so right now, let's take a little look at a classic match from Wrestling at the Chase, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Welcome to Wrestling at the Chase, the opening bout, an Australian tag team match, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Denton, Texas, weighing 248 pounds, Kerry Von Erich. From Boston, Massachusetts, weighing 271 pounds, Rufus R. Jones. From Newark, New Jersey, weighing 237 pounds, J.J. Dillon. And from Dunlap, Kansas, weighing 256 pounds, Bobby Jaggers. Referee, Lee Warren, Chuck Raleigh.
How's this for an opening bout? Kerry Von Erich and Rufus R. Jones against Bobby Jaggers and J.J. Dillon. Quite a tag team match. Kerry and Rufus consult with one another before Kerry squares off against Jaggers. Now Jaggers wants to talk to J.J. Dillon. Jaggers and Kerry circle. Kerry makes a dive for Jaggers' leg. You'll recall last weekend on Wrestling at the Chase, Kerry had Jaggers in some trouble with flying head scissors before Jaggers pitched Kerry over the top rope and got disqualified. Kerry rolls away, takes to the air for a drop kick that floors Jaggers, and Jaggers retreats to the corner. Jaggers takes a look around. Kerry Von Erich can do that to you with all the power and agility he has. He can take to the air for that drop kick without any warning. Just boom, up he goes. And that drop kick is flying. Kerry Von Erich flies off those ropes with a flying tackle. Leapfrog over the top. There's that drop kick again by Kerry Von Erich. Jaggers stunned. Flying elbow drop from Kerry. Kerry covers Jaggers. Count of 1, 2 at 2. Jaggers gets his foot on the bottom rope. Jaggers goes back into the corner and stays along the ropes. He may want to stay close to those ropes right now because out in the center of the ring, Kerry can really unleash those drop kicks. Jaggers would probably like to trap Kerry along the ropes in some manner if he could. Obviously, Jaggers has been thrown off balance by the high-flying tactics of Kerry Von Erich in the opening moments of the match. It's a side headlock by Kerry on Jaggers. Kerry, a flying tackle, drops Jaggers again. A second flying tackle. Jaggers taking his lumps. Oh, Jaggers was waiting that time. He threw out the elbow and dumped Kerry Von Erich. A tag is made to J.J. Dillon. Jaggers hangs on to Kerry for Dillon, and Dillon kicks Kerry right in the stomach. Elbow smash to the neck by J.J. Dillon on Kerry Von Erich. There's a side headlock, and down goes Kerry. Kerry counters, tried to counter. Trying to come up with the head scissors. He at least has his own head free. Kerry's shoulders are down, and he has to strain. Rufus R. Jones yelling from outside the ring that Dillon is pulling the tights of Kerry. Dillon grabs the leg, twists the ankle. Dillon using his head, maybe trying to take some of the spring out of Carey's legs. Slow him down a little bit. Keep him on the ground. Carey kicks Dillon away. Carey rolls over to tag Rufus R. Jones. No love lost here between Rufus Jones and J.J. Dillon. Dillon stalls and tags. Rufus says it makes no matter to him whether it's Dillon or Jaggers. They tie each other up. Jaggers with an elbow smash to the head, and that did no good whatsoever. Rufus just laughs at Jaggers. Rufus pounds in the stomach of Bobby Jaggers. His elbow is a good deal more effective than that of Jaggers, and Jaggers is caught in the corner by Rufus R. Jones. Down goes Bobby Jaggers. Wrong corner, Bobby. Carey says, I'll tag you. He comes in the ring and belts Jaggers. Down goes Jaggers again. Bobby Jaggers having a rough day on Wrestling at the Chase. Count of 2 before Jaggers gets away from Rufus, and then Rufus hooks the head of Bobby Jaggers. The crowd loves it. Well, that's bound to be a popular combination, Rufus R. Jones and Kerry Von Erich. Rufus twisting Jaggers' head, squeezing. Rufus tags Kerry Von Erich. Kerry comes in and twists the arm of Bobby Jaggers. Jaggers didn't realize a tag was made. Kerry Von Erich leaning into that arm, and then Jaggers is up to gouge the eyes. All that does is infuriate Kerry Von Erich, but it does allow Jaggers to make a tag with wily J.J. Dillon. Dillon daring Kerry Von Erich to test the strength. Dillon and Von Erich testing muscles against one another. Kerry up on the second rope. Jaggers yelling at him. Where's Kerry Von Erich going? Look at that! Walking right across the top rope, leaping into the ring, and pulling Dillon down. Oh, spectacular move by Kerry Von Erich. Oh, that takes some courage. Even Jaggers, I think, is surprised at that. Jaggers complaining that the referee shouldn't have let Kerry Von Erich climb the ropes. He says nobody else is allowed up there. That's because hardly anybody else can get there without falling off, I think.
5 minutes have elapsed, 5 minutes left.
Now Jaggers is upset with referee Lee Warren because he was arguing with Warren. Dillon came over to tag, and Jaggers didn't get there in time. I don't want to talk to these guys, says Bobby Jaggers. Nothing has gone right for Mr. Jaggers in the first 5 minutes of this match. Rufus R. Jones twisting the arm of J.J. Dillon. The crowd urges Rufus to twist it some more, and there's a headbutt right into the shoulder. Ouch! Down goes Dillon. Now Rufus pokes that knee right into the shoulder of J.J. Dillon. Good leverage there by Rufus R. Jones. Dillon tried to kick his way away from the knee of Rufus, but Rufus has that arm tied up perfectly, using his own knee to help make the arm bar more effective. Rufus drags Dillon away from Jaggers. No tag there. Dillon trying to kick his way over to Jaggers for a tag. Jaggers trying to drag him over. Hook out! And Jaggers pulled right into the ring when Dillon was pulled to the center of the ring by Rufus R. Jones. Bobby Jaggers must have gotten up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. Jaggers in the corner complaining. This time he makes a tag with Dillon. Rufus unaware of the tag, caught from behind by Bobby Jaggers. Jaggers and Dillon double teaming Rufus R. Jones. Flying mare by Bobby Jaggers. And then Jaggers ties up the head of Rufus. Jaggers and Dillon want to change the momentum in this match. It's been all Kerry Von Erich and Rufus R. Jones so far. Jaggers yelling something to J.J. Dillon. Dillon urges his partner to squeeze that head.
3 minutes left, 3 minutes.
3 minutes remain in the curtain raiser. It's Kerry Von Erich and Rufus R. Jones against Bobby Jaggers and J.J. Dillon. An elbow smash right between the eyes, and then Jaggers gouging the eyes of Rufus R. Jones. Rufus catches Jaggers in the stomach, but Jaggers hangs in it. Oh, that headbutt did a job on Bobby Jaggers, but Jaggers tagged Dillon. Dillon goes up on the second rope, tries to dive down, and Kerry Von Erich gets in the way. Kerry Von Erich Erich coming to the rescue of his partner, Rufus R. Jones. It's a good thing that Kerry Von Erich intervened there because Rufus was a sitting duck for J.J. Dillon, but Kerry got in there and protected his partner, Rufus. Dillon pushes Rufus into the corner. Twists the arm whipped by Dillon, look out! Oh, Dillon reversed into that corner, flying tackle by Rufus! The freight train is rolling now, here comes Jaggers, there goes Jaggers! Rufus tosses Jaggers into the buckles, off he comes, headbutt by Rufus! The headbutt by Rufus R. Jones, he covers Jaggers, count of 1, 2, oh, and there's Jaggers' leg on that rope. Jaggers getting his leg on the rope. It looked like curtains for Bobby Jaggers. Kerry Von Erich puts up the knee. He catches Jaggers in the ribs. Here comes Kerry. Kerry goes for the iron claw, but Jaggers blocks it. Jaggers blocking the iron claw. He certainly doesn't need to have the claw on him after taking a headbutt. Kerry straining, trying to get that claw on, and he exposes his stomach to Jaggers, who took advantage of it. Give me your knee, yells Jaggers. Instead, he gets the boot, but it's just as effective, and a tag is made to J.J. Dillon. Kerry trapped in the corner by Dillon and Jaggers.
1 minute left, 1 minute.
1 minute remaining. Dillon pounding on Kerry Von Erich. Leapfrog over the top by Kerry. Oh, the drop kick. Dillon tried to get away, couldn't quite get out of the line of fire. Flying mare by Kerry Von Erich. To the air. Oh, the flying elbow drop misses. Dillon rolled away. Here comes Jaggers. Dillon trying to get the fresh man in there to follow up after Kerry Von Erich missed the flying elbow drop. Kerry comes flying off the ropes. Jackknife. Cradle! The cradle by Kerry Von Erich. Dillon there to break up a potential pin. And Dillon staying in that ring. There's Rufus after J.J. Dillon. Rufus pounding on Dillon. Kerry Von Erich and Jaggers toe-to-toe. Jaggers knocked to the corner. Dillon slammed headfirst into the turnbuckle by Rufus R. Jones. Rufus running Dillon to the other corner to slam his head in. Kerry grabs the arm of Jaggers. Jones pounding on Dillon. There's the bell, and there go Jaggers and Dillon for a head-on collision right in the middle of the ring. But it won't matter. The time limit has expired. This match is officially a draw, sending Jones and Kerry Von Erich against Dillon and Jaggers. Let's make it official and hear from ring announcer Mickey Garagiola.
With time running out, referee declares this match a draw. Added attraction, most falls to curfew. Introducing from Phoenix, Arizona, weighing 236 pounds, Benny Romeo. And from Austin, Texas, weighing 265 pounds, the American Dream, former World's Heavyweight Champion, Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes, you asked for him, and promoter Sam Muchnick fulfills that wish. Dusty Rhodes, removing his colorful jacket. He came into the ring, went around outside the audience, kissed all the ladies, shook hands with all the men. And I'll tell you right now, he could run for mayor or president or anything he wanted to run for right here, and I think he'd be elected in a landslide. Dusty Rhodes, one of the most unique styles you're ever going to see, and Benny Romeo squares off with Dusty. Romeo pushes Rhodes to the corner. Lee Warren trying to break up Romeo, who throws a wild punch that misses. Rhodes had that big elbow up there ready to bang it into Romeo's head, and Romeo dived out of the ring. Dusty Rhodes, very strong, a lot of power there. We talked about versatility in the ring with people like Harley Race and Ted DiBiase. I'll tell you, Dusty Rhodes has some versatility of his own in all sports. When he was a youngster, he was signed by the New York Mets and played 1 year of minor league baseball. He also played a year of pro football with the New England Patriots. But wrestling was always his love, and this West Texas State graduate finally ended up in wrestling, and you know what he's done. Box office magic throughout the South and East. He drops Romeo, body drop right into the thigh, then Dusty scissors the ankle of Benny Romeo. Dusty twisting that ankle of Romeo. Romeo reached for the hair of Dusty Rhodes. There is one big, tough man. Is he the most colorful in wrestling? Could be. Can you imagine what it'll be like when he walks into the ring with Dick the Bruiser as his partner, and on the opposite side is the world's strongest man, Ken Patera, and a guy who thinks he's the most colorful, the most flamboyant, Nature Boy Ric Flair. That boggles the mind. Think of that. Rhodes and the Bruiser on the same team.
We're ready. 5 minutes left. 5 minutes.
5 minutes remain in the curfew. Whichever man has the most falls discredit when time runs out will be the winner. Dusty pulls Romeo to the center of the ring, then a standing leg split by Dusty Rhodes on Benny Romeo. There's a gentleman who would love to have that gold belt around his waist. Regardless of who has the title, Ted DiBiase or Harley Race, don't forget that Rhodes had the crown for about a week, and he too was a victim of that immediate rematch clause that Harley Race insists on in so many matches. Rhodes went into the rematch with Race after defeating Race with an arm injury. He really shouldn't have wrestled, but Rhodes wanted to fulfill his contract. He went in injured, and Race, always the opportunist, took advantage of it. And Harley Race regained the crown from Dusty Rhodes, but now Rhodes has had a taste of the gold belt. He wants another crack at the crown. Whether it's Race, whether it's DiBiase, whether it's Flair, whether it's Patera, whether it's the Bruiser, Dusty Rhodes doesn't care. Anything he has to do, anybody he has to beat, anyone he has to go through, he'll do it. Rhodes keeping the pressure on that ankle and that leg, punishing the leg of Benny Romeo. Romeo pulling back on the chin of Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes again twists that knee. And of course it bears repeating that Sam Muchnick has absolutely refused, totally rejected the idea of an immediate rematch clause for the bout between Race and DiBiase. So Race really has his back against the wall. Rhodes pounded to the corner by Benny Romeo, and Rhodes drives that elbow to the top of Romeo's head. A hard jab, and Dusty Rhodes starts flailing away at Benny Romeo. You want a battle? Rhodes does it, and he does it with flair, I should say. Rhodes again with that body drop into the thigh, and then scissors the ankle. A cut opened up between the eyes over the right eye of Dusty Rhodes. An old wound, I'll tell you. Dusty's been through the wars. He likes a Donnybrook as much as anyone. He and the Bruisers should get along wonderfully. You can see all the battle scars on the head of Dusty Rhodes. Well, that's the price you pay sometimes when you're right at the top of the heap, when you draw the big money, when you're in the top matches, the lucrative matches. And Rhodes backs down from nobody. In which case, he should be very happy in that giant 18-man Wrestle Royal, the biggest Wrestle Royal ever in St. Louis. And the first time a Wrestle Royal has ever been on the same card as a World Championship match. 18 men in the ring at once. Think of that. People like Rhodes, Bruiser, Patera, Flair, Dick Murdoch, Kerry Von Erich, Rocky Johnson, Jack Briscoe, Bobby Heenan, Bulldog Bob Brown, Rufus R. Jones, Spike Huber, so many more. All 18 in the ring at once. A man eliminated when he is thrown over the top rope. The sole survivor in the ring, the winner. That is an all-star lineup. That's an understatement. You talk about the people that'll be in that Royal. There's the standing leg split again by Dusty Rhodes on Benny Romeo. I wonder what would happen if it came down to Rhodes and the Bruiser, the last two men in that ring. Think about that. What would happen if it came down to Patera and Flair? Or Flair and Murdoch? Or Jack Briscoe and Dusty Rhodes? I'll look at all those combinations that could come down to for the last 2 or 3 men. All 18 in the ring at once.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
Romeo throws a punch at the head of Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes trying to concentrate on scientific wrestling against Romeo. Only once that Dusty's had to resort to Donnybrook style against Romeo to teach him a lesson. But right now it looks like Romeo wants to pound on Rhodes. He has to protect that leg. He's had a lot of trouble with the leg thanks to Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes slashes right back at Benny Romeo. The American Dream, as they call him, pounds on Romeo. That cut trickling blood down the nose of Dusty Rhodes once more. Well, Romeo started it, but Dusty Rhodes pounding on him may finish it. He hooks the head underneath, and the suplex by Dusty Rhodes on Benny Romeo. The suplex on Romeo, count of 2, and Romeo gets that shoulder up.
1 minute left. 1 minute.
Rhodes with a side saddle suplex on Benny Romeo. Rhodes covers Romeo again, count of 1, 2. Romeo gets that shoulder off. He's trying to hang in there. The curfew time running out. Romeo trying to hang in, and Rhodes trying to finish him off. Oh, the elbow smash right to the jaw. Clotheslining Romeo. Dusty backs up. What have we here? The flying elbow elbow drop. Oh, he smashes Romeo right into the mat, and Romeo's not getting up from that one. The flying elbow drop, riveting Benny Romeo right to the canvas. We checked the clock, that's going to be it. The only fall within the curfew, Dusty Rhodes has it, and Dusty Rhodes is the winner. Here's Mickey.
With time running out, the winner of the only fall and the match, the American Dream former world champion, Dusty Rhodes.
Nobody is quite like Dusty Rhodes, just one of the stars on Wrestling at the Chase today. Hello, I'm Larry Matisick. There's only one way to describe it. Dusty Rhodes has charisma. With every move he makes, with every victory he records, he does it in a style so unique, well, it could only belong to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. No wonder he's box office magic from coast to coast and one of the top contenders for the World Heavyweight Championship. Dusty Rhodes, here today on Wrestling at the Chase, and action begins following these messages.
Welcome to Wrestling at the Chase, the opening bout, a one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing, from Union City, Tennessee, weighing 242 pounds, David Oswald. From Austin, Texas, weighing 266 pounds, the American Dream, former world's heavyweight champion, Dusty Rhodes, referee Chuck Raleigh.
Dusty Rhodes tangled with David Oswald. How's that to open our wrestling program? Rhodes, the American Dream, Stardust himself, circles Oswald. Throws Oswald a little off balance just by making a few moves, a few feints. Shoves Oswald back. Oswald takes a long look at Dusty. They tie up. Flying mare by Rhodes. He pulls back on the chin with a chin lock. Dusty Rhodes twisting the head of David Oswald. Squeezing it. Those big forearms across the cheekbone and underneath the jawbone. Pulling the head together. Oswald has difficulty escaping from that position. Rhodes so strong, good balance on one knee, over the top, pulling back on that head. Oswald forced forward, and now it's a front face lock by Dusty Rhodes on David Oswald. Oswald stretched, his neck stretched out by Dusty Rhodes. Reaching inside, trying to break the grip of Dusty. Breaks the hold, twists the arm. Rhodes counters nicely. Flying mare again. And right back where he started is David Oswald. Compliments of Dusty Rhodes. Rhodes turns that head, putting pressure to the side of the neck. Dusty, a lot of pressure right along the jawbone right now. Oswald gets to his feet. Rhodes pulls back on that head. Oswald grabs the hair of Rhodes. Knee lift to the stomach by David Oswald. A forearm smash across the back of Dusty Rhodes by David Oswald. Rhodes fights right back, and the big elbow smash dumps David Oswald. Dusty slams that forearm into the chest, knocking the wind out of Oswald, and ending up at the same time with that head and chin lock, pulling back on the head. Let's get him, says the big D, Dusty Rhodes. Oswald forced over onto his side by the pressure being applied by Rhodes. Rhodes goes to the head scissors on David Oswald. Oswald trying to kick out. Rhodes squeezing that head on Oswald. Rhodes makes Oswald cry out. Oh, says Dusty Rhodes, that was good. We made him hurt. Let's do it again, says Dusty Rhodes. Squeezing that neck. Dusty Rhodes, I'll tell you, he is tough. He has a mean streak in him, and he certainly has color. When he gets rolling, those arms start flying, the legs begin flailing. Well, there's nobody quite like him. Whoops, says Rhodes, as Oswald tries to turn around, get in position to pop that head out. Rhodes squeezing tightly as much as he can, but Oswald lifted to the air by Dusty for one reason, so that Dusty can bounce Oswald right on top of the noggin. He didn't give Oswald a chance to get that knee into position on Rhodes' ankle so that Oswald could come out of the head scissors. Oswald trying to reach out with those legs for the ropes. Not quite close enough. Oswald gets his foot on the ropes. The referee not too terribly impressed, but Rhodes breaks cleanly. He knew the man was close enough to the ropes. He'd be entangled. Dusty ties up with Oswald. Oswald pushes Rhodes into the corner. And Oswald gouges the eyes of Rhodes. Oswald with a forearm smash to Dusty Rhodes' back. Another forearm smash from Oswald. He hits the ropes. Flying tackle. Rhodes stands his ground. Rhodes waiting, and he clotheslines Oswald. Rhodes flying off the rope. Giant elbow drop by Dusty Rhodes. Bang, bang, bang. Down goes Oswald. He's cradled. And Dusty Rhodes has a victory. I mean, just like that. Pow, like a rocket.
There you have it. That's some of the past. And because of the past, we have the present, and SICW Road Tour is the future. And if you haven't taken in a show, you need to. I'm telling you, Gary, they won't be disappointed, I don't think.
They won't be disappointed. And I want to, last but not least, if you guys ever come to Vegas, everything is in walking distance. If you guys ever go up to Iowa, everything's in walking distance. So it's all about getting up there and having fun. It's all about coming to SICW shows and having fun, because without Herb Simmons, SICW would, I don't know where we'll be at, because Herb Simmons sits on top of the table. Your organization is good as its leadership, and Herb Simmons is leading SICW into the future.
Well, and that's not a paid advertisement, and I appreciate all the accolades. And I know, Gary, in this business, as long as you've been in it and I've been in it, there are people who go above and beyond, and you are one of them. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for what you've done for the business and what you continue to do. And I don't have enough paper or pen or ink to list the guys that have provided entertainment for our fans through SICW. And I think the fans are the beneficiaries of what you guys go out there and do in each and every year. And so, fans, as we get ready to leave you tonight, we're here each and every Sunday night at 8 p.m. We hope you'll join us next week. Our guest is scheduled, Mr. Chris Blair, who is the general manager of the Worldwide Technology Raceway, because we got some more announcements to be making about that. And there's nobody better. I mean, we had the owner, and now we're going to have the general manager. So he's got some announcements up his sleeves that I think we'll be interested to hear about also. But Gary, why don't you send us home with a couple notes on that horn there, on that whistle.
All aboard the night train.
We'll see you next Sunday night, 8 p.m. right here.